Oh, yeah. It's the sweet, sweet sounds of another episode of the Social Distance Drinking Club. It's the Sunday Day Drink. However, this time, another special episode. Florida man. You know, Florida man. Florida man. I don't know. Florida's in the news, right? We're talking about Florida. Everybody's talking about Florida. We always talking about Florida. But our special guest today, a good friend of mine, he goes by the name of Joe Mac, Mr. Joe McLellan, joining us. He lives in Florida at the moment, so we will call him our own personal Social Distance Drinking Club Florida man. We'll talk to him in a few, but as always, thank you guys for joining us, and tell us what you're drinking. Pop it in the comments. Brett Berry, you look satisfied and refreshed.
P&W Northwest Style IPA from Dark Sky up north.
Ooh, tasty.
100% mosaic hops, so unsurprisingly very, very smooth.
I just got splashed around with some cider that I waited to open and shouldn't have. It's called Pineapple, which is interesting because it's cardamom and elderberry with macerated pineapples and Belgian Saison yeast.
To be fair, that kind of sounds like a craft beer guy's like Mad Libs.
Craft beer Mad Libs. What do you say? Cardamom, elderberry, pineapples, and Belgian Saison yeast. That's all I have left in the house. It does. I mean, it looks good.
Or that could sound like all of those words could be the squares on your tic-tac-toe board of craft beer terms. Actually, that would be a fun game to do.
I was going to say, that would be a fun one. It's just tic-tac-toe with craft beer terms. Like, when someone says dry and hoppy, you're just like, bingo!
Or well executed.
Well executed. Only the finest and freshest of hops. The finest and freshest. Guys, thanks for joining us. Tell us what you're drinking in the comments. Mr. Sam Frazier, thank you for being here. Dark Sky's Mercury Retrograde. Am I the only one without a Dark Sky beer in this whole situation right now? I don't have anything Dark Sky in my fridge. Ryan Sandler, if you're watching, we need more beer.
There's a chance I might come back with some in a week and a half. So Ellie and I are taking a long road trip and camping, socially distanced to go see her parents.
Where are you guys headed up to? Up in Washington, right?
They are in Pullman, and Ellie's parents have been socially distancing since before coronavirus ever happened. So we got tested yesterday. So trying to be smart, we've been trying to really put it on lockdown, waiting for our test results.
I feel like, would she be okay with you saying that out loud? Because that sounds like a jab at the future in-laws. They've been socially distancing since before coronavirus.
They're just very they Ellie's dad especially does not particularly want to be around people. But he's a very wonderful man. I actually love Ellie's parents.
Good. Nice.
I'm pretty excited. We're gonna go up there and it's gonna be very like calm.
Guys, if you're just joining us, tell us in the comments what you're drinking. Some of you may have noticed there's only 2 boxes on the screen right now. Our dear friend and co-host Adam Green has decided to drive home from his social distance vacation in San Diego. He chose not to get on a plane today. I guess, you know, it made him more comfortable, and also we may have made him buy another suitcase to fill up with beer to bring back. So, there's that. Because he did buy a boatload of beer.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he also picked up things that I already paid for like 4 months ago that a friend proxied for me, like 5 bottles from Pure Project.
I was going to say, it's a bunch of Pure Project, and I hope he picked up some Modern Times stuff. I meant to ask him to go to Best Damn Beer Shop. That's a free plug for you guys to grab some stuff too, because they have a ton sitting on their shelf right now for some reason. But yes, we're missing Adam Green, and we are also missing other Adam. We're missing Adam Ledford. Adam Ledford had some stuff to take care of at home. He is swamped. Our friend, the ever studious Adam Ledford, is up to his neck in homework, so we gave him a break.
Can I just say, very insulting to call Adam Ledford the other Adam. We know who the other Adam is.
You know what? We stand for all Adams here, and Eve too. I don't want to confuse anybody.
All Adams matter.
All Adams matter is, again, feel free to say it. I'm just going to go ahead and privilege check you on that. That's all. Right? You can say it if you want, but you're getting privilege checked. I want to bring in, everybody knows Sunday Day Drink. We hang out, we have some drinks, we swap conversations. I want to bring in our friend Joe Mac in a moment to chat with us about what he's got going on. He worked, I guess, at this point, because him and I cannot go to the same jobs anymore in my industry in event production. And he's also in Florida, so he can give us some insight on what the hell's going on over there, because I believe they did shut things down on Friday. So we will find out momentarily from Joe. Mr. McLellan, what's that?
I was gonna say, do you remember when like 6 weeks ago there was like a big op-ed in like the Washington Post or New York Times where it was like, everyone owes Governor DeSantis an apology, and now they're getting 10,000 cases a day.
I'm still wondering what's going to happen here, because I don't think anyone's going to shut anything down here. I don't think the governor has it in it. If anything, he's going to pass the buck again. Just go.
I think that, personally, I'm concerned that the worst case scenario is going to happen, which is they don't want to actually make the call, and it's going to end up actually hurting more people in the long run because they keep making people not feel safe to go out at all, even if they're trying to be responsible.
True that. I really do think he's going to pass the buck, though. I think it's going to be like, you guys figure it out, let the cities choose, and then the county will shut things
down. What makes you say that? The fact that he's been doing that for 5 months already?
Weird. It's like there's some sort of precedence.
Yeah.
Well. All right. Let's bring in my dear friend, Joe McLellan. You guys can call him Joe Mac. Joe.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Hey, can I call you Flo Joe for Florida?
Sounds good to me. It's not trademarked, so let's run with it.
I hope is FloJo not trademarked? I just want, like right now, I'm taking full advantage of putting this banner down there so that anyone scrolling through Facebook sees it. Because as far as I know, if you see anything about a Florida man on the internet, you stop to read it. So I'm just hoping right now someone's like, a Florida man, click.
Yeah. How many jokes is my max number of Florida man jokes I can make for you, Joe?
Oh, hey, please bring it on. The hashtags, the Facebook comments, all of them. I'll take it.
I mean, I'm already shocked as Florida man you have a shirt on. So there's.
You told me to dress up for this, so I figured, hey, what the hell?
Yeah, normally Joe shows up to even the most dangerous of events without a shirt. Always with a tool belt on and gloves, but no shirt.
Exactly. And my flip-flops are OSHA certified.
You are an avid flip-flop wearer, my friend.
I carry that flag. No joke.
Indeed. Joe, you're living in, you're like right outside of Orlando right now, right?
Yeah. I'm on the very southern edge of Orange County here in the Orlando area. So
before I want to talk a little bit about how you and I got to know each other and let people get to know you, tell us about your project as well. But we asked everybody else what they were drinking, and guys, chime in, please. But Joe, what have you got?
I got one of there's a brewery here locally called Crooked Can. They're out of the Winter Garden area, just to the north and to the west of like Orlando proper, they call it. This is their foray into the lagers. Now, this is a fairly new beer for them. I just found this today, actually, while I was looking for some other stuff. But, yeah, it comes in a tall boy, the big 16 ounces. Big fan of the tall boy cans.
Can't tell if it's a tall boy or with you because everything is just.
Right.
He just held his hand up to a freaking tall boy can, and it was just like, okay, we're not doing this bit again. That's 3 weeks old.
And also because it makes Yusuf uncomfortable.
I don't know why.
Dominated by an ice scoop a few weeks ago, Joe.
Yeah, we did an episode at a place here called the Golden Pineapple that is new, and we made cocktails, and there was an ice scoop that was literally one of the the ones you get from like the big commercial ice machines.
Yeah, one of like catering ones or whatever.
Yeah, from a restaurant. But then there was also like a set of tongs that was like the itty bitty craft ice tongue. So I pulled up the ice scoop, and it was bigger than my head. And so they all told me that it's only big because it's me. So normal sized ice scoop. I'm a tiny man. I was flanked by two people who were over 6 feet tall at the time. So
to be fair, you normally are.
True. It's very true. I am. You're not helping my case right now. Ladies, I promise I'm 5'10". Everything's going to be fine. Standing next to Joe, I look very small as well.
Well, that's most people though. I'm part Bigfoot, part person, actually. So
Yes, 100%. Actually, most of the Florida sightings of Bigfoot in the last 4 years are just because Joe moved to the Orlando area.
yeah, there we go. Bigfoot research team, card carrying member.
Speaking of card-carrying member, Joe, we had the pleasure of doing a podcast together once, and now it's hibernating. What is it? What's going on? And tell us about it. It was called the Local 390.
The Local 390 podcast. We had to put things on hiatus at the time, certainly not now, but at the time, work kind of got in the way with my business, and I wasn't able to devote as much time to it as I wanted to make a quality product. So I had to put things on the back burner. But you can still find us on, we're still in the Google Play Store. We're still on SoundCloud. We're still on Stitcher. And we are still in the iTunes podcast store, Apple Podcasts, whatever they call it these days. And there's also a website you can go to, local390.com. It hasn't really been maintained that well, but you can find links to pretty much everything that we had going on.
They will find the one that you aptly named Check Youssef Before You Wreck Youssef.
Yes. I was proud of that, actually. I felt especially funny that day.
That was, you guys did exactly what our transition plan is, except for we're going to add, obviously, video. But we had microphones clamped down at the bar at a craft beer spot, beer list in hand. We brought a few bottles to share, and you got a little bit of ambient noise for the people behind you, but it was great. It was a blast.
Good times. It was good times.
Really good times. So Local 390 podcast was a thing. It is hibernating, but still living in the ether of the internet. What are you working on right now?
Well, there's two projects that we have in the works. Me and a friend of mine who also was in the events industry and is now, let's just call it in between jobs. We started a YouTube channel called the Newsuck, where basically he's a phenomenal editor and he's a graphic designer, and he makes these wonderful images, and the guy's just amazing at video editing. He takes me reading news stories and cuts it up and makes it funny. So that's kind of our small project right there. We've got a larger one in the works that I can't say too much about yet because there's still some things that we're trying to get straight. But it's going to be like a collaboration effort with a bunch of local breweries and local bars. And it's going to be a beer-centric site, giving a lot of information about beer culture in Orlando. It's going to give you a lot of information on if you're looking for a specific brewery's beer, where you can go to find that, be it on draft, be it in growlers, or be it canned.
So you've got secret projects going on top of your projects going on.
Right. I'm an alcoholic, Yusuf. You know that.
Well, it's true, and we all are. Actually, I want to get to that, touch on that in a second. But take a look, guys. thenewsuck.com.
Hey, all right. That's us, yeah.
That's you. I did watch it. I very much enjoyed what you did with Dave from Wendy's.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I won't ruin it for anyone. That'll be your teaser, people. Go take a look. But poor Dave. Poor.
Be sure to like and subscribe. We've got a Patreon set up, and we're working on getting merch out here in the very, very near future.
What the hell, man? You're making me look bad. He's got a Patreon set up. People are already. He's got an OnlyFans page where you get to watch him put his shirt on.
No, not doing that. I'm going to get married in a few months, so no. We had to shut all that down.
That's right. You are getting married.
I am. Yeah.
Well, are you still having a wedding? Is that is a gathering? Okay, because Brett canceled his wedding for the year. He delayed it, rather, didn't cancel it. My friend Ricky did as well a few months ago. Obviously, that was height of the spike. But yeah, a lot of people delaying those things. So I was curious. How many people? How big is it?
It's going to be about 30 people. We decided to keep it small just because of the way things are going. We're set up for November. So hopefully by that time, things will be delayed out enough where it won't the restrictions won't be quite as tight as they are. So we're fingers crossed, rolling the dice.
Yeah, from my experience, we were doing a destination wedding to try to keep it small, and going from Arizona right now, dragging anyone to anywhere seems to be an irresponsible thing to do.
Yeah. We had to make some tough decisions as far as who we could invite responsibly and things like that. But hey, man, it's a pandemic, and 2020 has been a dumpster fire. So a lot of folks are very understanding, thankfully. 2020
has been a dumpster fire. That's also a beer name. 2020 is a dumpster fire. Or
sounds good.
the great dumpster fire of 2020. We asked my friend Kevin's son, he's 12 years old, what he thought, without anybody, influencing his opinion at the moment, what he thought was going on. And he goes, it's crazy. It's like a historic moment. And I'm like, yeah, not the history we wanted to make, but yes.
Yeah, historic, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
That's what we'll call it, historic.
Yeah, Joe, how's the response been with all the cases spiking in Florida? Because in my head, I just imagine people trying to shoot coronavirus with shotguns or sticking their pet alligators on it.
Well, the shortage on ammo is a real thing, so we'll just go ahead and put that out there. But there's the mask debate is quite heavy down here, as y'all can imagine, based on the Florida Man News and things like that. There's let's just call it some differing opinions on the whole mask situation. I personally am like, look, just wear it. It doesn't inconvenience you that much. It's been scientifically shown to reduce the transmission of it. And the whole thing is like, well, if I wear the mask, I'm still going to catch it. Right. But if everyone wears a mask, everybody's chances go down. So it's kind of an all or nothing kind of proposition. So getting folks on board with that is it's a bit of a challenge, but matter of fact, my fiance and I were out today doing some shopping and things, and there's a lot of masks. The mayor here in Orange County has mandated masks being worn in public areas, especially indoors. So that seems to be going pretty well so far. Like I said, fingers crossed. We'll just keep an eye on it, and hopefully that'll continue.
Where's your mask at? You got one handy? You got one like you keep by the door on your way out?
Oh, I've got dude, we've got like 6, man. I mean.
I'll have to. You'll have to remind me of the show. I'll have to mail you out a social distance drinking club mask.
Hey, that'd be awesome. I'd love that.
One of these bad boys.
Nice.
Right here. Check that out. So
okay, I'm down.
Limited edition, not available on the internet. Sorry, my friends. However, you can buy a social distance drinking club shirt if you go to that link right down there. socialdistanceclub.com. Free plugs for me. It's funny because everybody complains about wearing a mask and how it's bad for their health. And I'm like, it's 15 minutes. Do you go to Fry's and hang out by the meat section for 4 hours and just chat, Karen?
Right. All those people are full of shit. Let's just say the truth.
I had somebody tell me yesterday that they wear the mask and immediately take it off once they get past the front door. I'm like, then why are you wearing the mask? Like, just stay home and stop being that guy. It's not this. Plus, we've already established masks are sexy. It's a thing. So, grab a mask. Send us mask pics. Not like directly. Send it so we can show people. That sounded dirty.
Yeah, you may want to rewind that and play it back a little differently.
I'm not going to play that back. I'm just hoping nobody was watching. But for those of you who are, hey, thanks for joining. Tell us what you're drinking in the comments. Joe, what do you see in terms of our industry? Corporate events, live entertainment. When do you think we're going to be, kicking doors down and rolling trucks in?
Well, I got to tell you, I've talked to a lot of my own clients and a lot of my buddies that are in the industry, and did a lot of soul searching 2 months after this all kicked off, because I'm sure it's the same thing for you, but when the coronavirus first became big time media news, all of a sudden things started dropping like flies. I mean, I had work lined up 3-4 months out. All of a sudden, every other day I got an email or a phone call or something along those lines of, hey guys, sorry, they've canceled this event because of XYZ, yada yada.
It basically started the end of the first week of March. I came back from a show in the Bahamas. I was out there helping manage a medical event, and it was like I was supposed to leave 5 days later, and everything fell off. Just boom, 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 done.
Yeah. My last corporate event was February 28th.
Yeah, so I mean, like March 3rd for me, basically.
Right. Yeah, at the same time frame. Basically, a week after that all happened, the phone calls started coming in, the emails. Hey, everything's canceled. One of my big clients, it's an IT firm. I do probably 3, maybe 4 shows with them a year, and I do a gig every October with them here in the Orlando area. And I got an email probably mid-March that yeah, guys, they've canceled everything for the entire year. Really sorry. we'll keep in touch. So
it's not. This is interesting, right? Because take a look at the fact that people are running around bitching and moaning about shit not being open and wanting to go out and drink and not wearing a mask. But our clients and our friends, people we work with, responsible enough to cancel shit in November because they're like, no way in hell we're putting 1,500 people on planes from every city in the U.S. to stay at a hotel and hang out and drink together after they're done working for 5 days. You know. Right. And these are medical events that get canceled, folks. Doctors, people who are coming from all over the world, and now we have just slowed down the progress of medicine because other problem in medicine. So,
exactly. The whole thing's just compounded and snowballed from jump, and it's just good grief. But
there have been some good things that have come out of this.
Very true.
You've got a couple of projects you're working on. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this happened. This show has happened, and
this is great.
Me and the boys had a little bit extra time at home for some reason. Who knows? I mean, Brett's still super busy, but he's at his desk, so it's nice. I'm assuming you felt the need to have a bit of a creative outlet when you weren't like out on show site, right? Because that's kind of a release for us when we're at a show site. We're building a live event and then tearing it down.
Right. And then not to mention, my situation in particular, me being typically backstage audio, interfacing with clients and things like that, the social aspect of it, I've gotten to meet some really cool people, gotten to talk to some Fortune 500 CEOs and things like that, and just some really interesting people and some great conversations. And, you kind of miss that because there's a lot of great stuff you can learn from those folks as far as, business development and just general everyday stuff. And I mean, it's just, there's such a large amount of knowledge you can bring in on, pick a topic. And
we always say that the AV guys are probably the smartest people in the room.
Oh, definitely.
In any given year, we've been to top level cancer conferences.
Yeah.
We know all about spinal surgery. I can probably replace your knee if I needed to.
Yeah.
And I know like all of the words to a song I shouldn't have heard ever. Somebody's national anthem somewhere.
We can do top 40 karaoke with the best of them and just never skip a beat.
We did it once. And actually, hey, Brett, you clearly, this has to have gotten to you a little bit, not being able to go play anywhere or like go see a show, right? Because you were an avid concert goer.
Oh yeah, I had, I think I had 8 different concerts I had tickets for that were not happening. I had a birthday trip planned for Elliot. Had a surprise trip to Nashville planned for me because I'd never been there. I was planning to go do. I was supposed to be going to a Vegas conference. Everything's gone away for a while, right?
I'm just really sad I'm not seeing Kanye West. Very upset. Everyone's looking at me like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you serious?
You mean like his 8-hour sermon shows? Because I'm not about that.
Yeah, I was looking forward to going to church with Kanye, man. Didn't he do one here in Phoenix? He did, right?
Yeah, I think it was a letdown for the people that went. Shocker.
Do you think we could get a Kanye hat that says MACA, Make America Kanye Again, just so it has his name in it? Because that seems like the level of narcissism to be required in that situation. Make America Kanye again. No hard feelings, Kanye. If you're watching the show, we love you. Please send us money.
To be fair, Yusuf, I do feel like 2020 has basically been Kanye West like personified as a year. Just madness all over the place.
Beer name. Guys, if you're just joining us, tell us what you're drinking in the comments. Sam Frazier has apparently already graduated to drink number 2. It is a spiked smoothie, which means drink number 1 was good. Spiked smoothie from Connecticut Valley. It's what a Truly should actually taste like. All right, Sam, I don't need your sass, my friend. I have to enjoy my Trulies.
Rock and roll, Sam. Go for it, brother.
I mean, we're just. What's wrong with a Truly? You ever had a Truly, Joe?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, they're not bad. Actually, I'm a fan of the spiked seltzers. I mean, they're really good. There's some things you can do to let's say enhance the flavor of them.
Like what?
I will say, well, my favorite is what they call a turnpike down here in the South.
A what?
A turnpike.
Okay, that sounds like a Southern problem. Tell me more.
Well, basically, my favorite turnpike is you take a tall boy with PBR and you drop in a shot of lemonade vodka, AKA the white trash shandy.
The white trash shandy.
The white trash shandy. Oh, it's delicious. You should try it sometime. It's a great drink.
You know, that just made me need a nice warm cup of coffee.
Cold brew, I assure you.
Of course it's cold brew. I just keep it in this scrumptious bottle. By the way, guys,
It's a decanter.
I know I said I'd save you guys some, but I fucked up.
Cool story, bro.
Remind me to put this away. Also, shout out to our friends over at Cotton and Copper and Yucca for handpicking this single barrel select, the bear cover trick team.
That's quite a week that it's been for you, Yusuf, on top of everything else you drank.
I might have shared it with people and poured some to give to others.
I'm imagining your broom friends you made at the beginning of quarantine when you first lost your mind.
Don't get me started on the broom friends. They're great.
The Broom Friends. That sounds like a great podcast.
Oh, I mean, don't rename our show, but maybe we should. John says, I got to make a beer run. Just trying to figure out how much of a drive I'm willing to do. There are delivery options. We've discussed this.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a pandemic, man. You know, make that delivery option. They can have it there in like an hour or something. It's crazy.
Some of them you have to order day before, depending on where it is here, Joe. But I don't know what's actually, that's a great question. Like Florida beer delivery. Has that been a thing? I know our friend Charles from House of Beer was like eager and upset that he couldn't open his bar, and now he's closed again, by the way.
Yeah. The HOB situation is, man, I feel for those guys. You know, as you know, that's my hometown bar, and just those guys are really going through it right now, and I hate to see it. I really do.
Not to be confused with World of Beer. House of Beer is literally a mom and pop owned.
It is.
Beer tap room, and it's the first one I went to with you out in Orlando, and I still think the best. That's where we actually recorded the podcast. So
yeah, that was the home of the 390.
Yep, sure was. No, I mean it's really right smack dab in between a mediocre taco place. I only say this because I'm from Arizona, and you know this because you.
No. Feel free. It is a mediocre taco place.
It is called Tacos My Way, but spelled Guey like a way. You know, it's Tacos My. You know how many people in Florida walked into House of Beer and said, "How's that Tacos My Gooey place?"
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Tacos My Gooey.
Tacos My Gooey. Yep.
And the real picture about the whole thing is their quesadillas are better than their tacos.
This is the problem.
I feel like there's so many dirty jokes to be made from that, but I can't figure it out.
Their quesadillas are better than. I think we could figure this
out. And taco my gooey.
Tacos my gooey. Well, while we noodle on it, let's ask the audience.
Oh. Sounds great. Bring them
in. So tell us about beer delivery in Florida. I'm curious what that's looking like, and if that's obviously going to come back now that things are closed again.
Here about probably about a month and a half into the pandemic, there was a brewery from the Barry area. Which, for those of you playing along at home, it's probably about 45 minutes north and east of the downtown Orlando area. They were doing home delivery because their inventory, they're an actual brewery. They don't have a tap room or anything like that. So they had all this inventory sitting on the shelves, and they're just trying to get rid of it. So they put a Facebook blast out, and me and a really good friend of mine found it, and they were selling their beer by the can for $1 a can.
Whoa.
And the guy would bring it to your house.
This is an actual brewery.
This is an actual brewery. It's an actual brewery.
And then it wasn't like a fire sale. Like they didn't immediately file Chapter 11 and shut the place down a week later.
No, they didn't. And they're still doing business. They actually distribute to a local grocery store here called Publix in the area. Persimmon Hollow is the brewery. So if anybody out there is listening and you're in the Orlando, Central Florida area, check out Persimmon Hollow. They do a great IPA. They've got another ale called the Daytona Dirty Blonde Ale, which is really good. Super nice guys, very, very cool. We talked to them on Facebook, and like I said, they gave us a delivery twice, and we paid bottom dollar prices for the beer, and it's a great beer. I mean, it's a really, really solid beer.
There you go, guys.
That's them right there.
Free plug for Persimmon Hollow. Now all you have to do, Joe, is go tell them that we did this, so we can have them join us on the show and talk beer. But it looks like a nice place. It does not look like a place I would expect the $1 beer from. So
yeah. I mean, well, their 6-packs in the grocery store typically go for about $10. But it's well worth it. Like I said, it's a great beer. It's very well done. It's a local beer. They're not like a big juggernaut in the area, like say an Orlando Brewing or a Cigar City, but
these are
really good stuff.
These are great beer names too. We got the Gypsy Hiker, Hollow Oktoberfest, Barrel Aged 3 Wise Guys, Beach Hippie.
Yeah, the Beach Hippie. That's one that we had. It was really good. The Blood Orange Wheat is also another really good beer if you like lighter stuff.
If somehow through a legal means of transportation some Orlando beer showed up here, I would not be upset. Just saying.
I'm not a huge Orlando beer fan myself.
I know.
Orlando Brewing, not a huge Orlando Brewing fan. But hey, you know, they're out there and they do a lot of good stuff for the community. So hey, if you like their beer, go for it. But me personally, I'm more of a Crooked Can guy. Yeah.
Well, don't send it over because that would be illegal. But like, send some over. If
I got you. Over, right? As an over.
Yes, you know, if you could just throw it on a drone and make it get here, that'd be great.
Grab the nearest crocodile, slap it on its back, and free the ocean. See where he ends up.
Sounds good. We strap it to a few pelicans and just send them west. You guys will have it in like 2 to 3 months. Yeah, it'd be great.
If I wake up and there's a knock at my door and a crocodile outside with a backpack strapped to it, that'll be the one time the brown guy is afraid of the other thing with a backpack. Unattended luggage, by the way, beer name. Definite beer name.
You know what? We should start a brewery. Let this thing get some legs, and let's just start a brewery. It'll be hilarious.
At this point, we have enough beer names to keep a brewery open for 6 years at minimum.
You know what? When this is all over, let me make some calls, and I'll get back to you.
Brett started collecting these names, I don't know, a few years ago, right? Like
I think we were at Strong Beer and started coming up with them.
Strong Beer Festival here.
I think it was with our friends from Borderlands and Crooked Tooth when we were after the Strong Beer Festival. So we were doing pretty good by that point.
Yeah, everything sounded creative. Chris Macbeth, thank you for joining us. He's drinking Pillsbury Rosés, or Pillsbury's Rosé, their one night stand. That is local Arizona wine. That's right. You heard me say it. There's wine being made in Arizona and grapes being grown in Arizona. It's a thing. It's a thing. We did have an episode with Sam Pillsbury and our dear friend James Callahan as well from Rune Wines. He just hit me up a couple days ago, actually. What do you got there, Brett? I see you drinking. Aha. Is it time for number 2? That's business ethic from the shop. Joe, tell us more. You got more beer?
I do, actually. It's funny you should mention that. I was just fixing to crack open another one. Now, there's been some change in their distribution over the last couple of years, so you guys might actually see them out in the Arizona area and on the West Coast. But Cigar City Brewing, right here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we got it. We got Highlight, I want to say like last year.
Yeah, it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I've turned some people onto that beer itself because I'm like, hey, try to get somebody that doesn't like IPAs to like IPA. That's a good one.
It is a good one. That's the White Oak one, though. Have you had the White Oak, Brett?
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, White Oak Highlight is really nice.
Oh, the White Oak is amazing. It's one of my favorites. They only do it, I believe, twice a year.
Sorry, did you just open your can with a knife, like a true Florida man?
Oh, yeah, totally. That's how we do it down here, friend. That's how we do it.
Wait, you just emasculated the whole cast because there's only 2 of us.
Don't make it a emasculated joke when he's holding a knife.
He is a Florida man. I feel bad. I'm drinking a cider. It poured purple, and it exploded in my face when I cracked it open with my dainty fucking fingers because my hand isn't even as big as the can, apparently. Meanwhile, man whose hand is bigger than tall boy cracks open beer with knife, which is a byline for a great Florida man story.
I've got a long reputation to uphold, friend. So I got to make it right.
Damn.
Beer with knife. Cigar City's next stout.
You know what? We keep going back to the Florida Man thing. One of my favorite double IPAs ever is the Florida Man double IPA from Cigar City, and they started canning it a couple of years ago. But it's really hard to find because, once again, it's another one of those beers that I don't think they mass produce it. I think it's like a once or twice a year kind of thing. But man, if you're into double IPAs, it's great. It's got this beautiful malt along with this really nice hoppiness that doesn't really like linger too much. But
I can't remember if I had it or not, but it looks very familiar, and that's a hell of a rating. So,
oh yeah, and see, this particular can you have up here. This is a change in the branding. They just started canning it about 3 years ago. Before that, it was all sold in bombers.
Ooh.
So that's the only way you could get it, and you had to. It wasn't sold in any kind of bars or anything. You could occasionally find a craft beer bar that had it if they had like a good bottle selection. But beyond that, it was either you go to the tap house and buy it over in Tampa, or you found it elsewhere. Like
Speaking of bottle selection, do you remember we Joe somehow I needed beer. I needed to buy beer. I wanted to buy some Cigar City stuff, some Marshall Zukov. There was Scared, which was a killer stout. And I can't remember the name of the store you took me to.
Lucky's Market.
Lucky's Market. Okay.
Market.
This thing has got to be.
Rest in peace, Lucky's. They're no longer around, unfortunately.
No way.
Yeah, they all closed down. They had a major, well, without going too deep in the story, apparently there was some book cooking going on, and they ended up shutting every single one of them down.
Brett, book cooking?
I was going to say book cooking is probably not a bad beer name.
It's a pretty fucking good beer name. let's definitely crack open a can of book cooking. Well, describe it, because I don't want to tell the story of how awesome this place was. But Brett, I think this is something that maybe you might have seen up in the Pacific Northwest as well. It seems to be something that hits those regions, but it's a super cool grocery store.
Yeah, it was a really, really cool place. I believe they originated from the Colorado area around Denver, and they had a deli that was just unbelievable. Their meat counter, they smoked all their own meats. So their bacon selection was just, mwah. I mean, it was through the roof.
A passionate man for food. But you missed
very
the
passionate.
first thing we did when we walked through the door, and the coolest thing I saw. You know, you go grab your shopping cart, and you grab it, and it's like there's one with child seat, there's one without. Every shopping cart had a cup holder. And on the front, as soon as you hit the front door on the right-hand side, you could pick up a draft beer while you shopped.
Exactly.
Life-changing.
For a great price, by the way.
What was it, $2, $3, I think? For beer?
It depended on what you bought, but if you bought the Lucky's House beer, I believe it was $2 for a pint. And then if you wanted something like they rotated the taps, but I remember at one time they had the Goose Island IPA up there for, I think, $3 for a pint. You know, so you take your plastic cup and you just walk around to your heart's content. It was great.
Yeah, we definitely spent a lot of time, and I spent way too much money in there, but I came home with. I put my clothes into my backpack and filled my carry-on with Bombers. I can't say that, can I? I can't say filled my carry-on with Bombers on the internet or ever. I just realized that.
Let's say bottles. Can we say that?
I mean, you can, but also this is another good time for a privilege check.
Yes, I've been privilege checked.
Filled my carry-on with Bombers, not something that Yusuf can say.
Hey, can I just say we've reached new levels when you're privilege checking a Florida man.
That's true. Guys, you've hung out for a pivotal moment in the show completely. The Sunday Day Drink has accomplished its mission. We're off the rails. We've privilege checked a Florida man. Also, Yusuf said something about Bombers and carry-ons.
Also, Florida man privilege check. Great beer.
Great beer name. Great beer name. Well, we did. I found a ton of beer there. I bought. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. By the way, is so delicious, and people might not get that reference, but it's a Saved by the Bell reference. I'm gonna see if I can't find the bottle art to see it. Did I share that with you?
Jesse Spano's caffeine pills.
Yes, exactly. I don't know if did I ever share that with you, Brett?
I don't think so.
So that was a Funky Buddha beer. And the can art is stupid funny. It's right here. Hold on. Oh boy, internet. Okay. I lied. It's not right there. There you go. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. It is just
There we go.
comical. She's holding the cup of coffee, riding a like a tiger unicorn. I don't know.
A tiger corn.
A tiger corn. And it is an imperial stout with coffee and vanilla. It also had like mad, nasty gooiness at the bottom that they acknowledged because of all the extra sugar and everything. It just like, it had this one layer of goop when you were pouring it. Whoever got the last pour ended up with like a weird slime.
It poured like motor oil. It really did.
It was so good.
As most good imperial stouts will, might I add.
Yes. Delicious. But the art's hilarious here.
Oh, definitely. Well, Funky Brew has always been known for their artwork. I mean, just so many great things out of that place.
I'm trying to think of all their other crazy beer names that we saw from Funky Buddha. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Brett, one of those bottles that Adam Ledford brought for the Cigar City collabs, I think one of them was a Funky Buddha collab. I can't remember. It's a tough one.
Man, I don't recall. I still have one left though. The one got cracked open when it fell out of the cabinet. We did like 4 or 5 of them that one night.
Yeah, he claims that this bottle got cracked open when it fell from the cabinet, Joe. So he had to drink it, obviously, because he was taking over the team.
And how fast were you there?
I showed up like 35 minutes later after the show, maybe. Amy says that can art would make quite a tattoo. I agree. I mean, if you look at it, I think it would. It's kind of dope.
Well, remember, what was the other beer they had? Morningwood?
Yes, Morningwood.
Yeah, Morningwood.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to put Sam Fraser's comment up and it was step away. I don't know why Morningwood made me have to step away, but I'll be right back. Sam Fraser says, was that tiger corn pooping coffee beans? Yes. Don't you know that there are monkeys who eat coffee and then poop it out and then we get charged extra for it? We get charged extra to drink monkey poop coffee. So tiger corn poop coffee? Probably amazing. Amazing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, tiger corns are very rare.
Tiger corns are very rare. No one's seen one yet. By the way, I still haven't asked, but I can't wait to get them on the show, why the hell this scrumptious sticker is on there. Like, why? What's the point? I don't know. Did we finally figure out who these guys were? I think we did.
Well, the guy on my right is Arn Anderson, an old WWF wrestler from way back in the day. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. He looks familiar, but I can't remember who he is. If anybody knows and you're looking at this, guys, tell us. Because
the guy on the left looks way too much like Jon Favreau of 20 years ago.
A little bit. A little bit.
Tell me I'm wrong, Joe. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not. You're spot on, my friend. Spot on.
Amy, you're right. Morningwood, not a good tattoo. Also,
depends on where on your body.
Huh?
Depends where on your body.
There is an extensive list of circumstances that would make that.
Is there a, you know what? Too much thinking at this point. Let's let it go.
Moving on.
Sam Fraser wants to know what the street value of tiger corn poop beans would be if we were establishing that market right now. Sam, sky's the limit, my friend.
Well, actually, I would estimate, based on current street prices for other things, which I am not at liberty to discuss totally, between $47.50 and $55 a pound.
That's a very specific number, man.
Well, there's been a lot of research for small business, for me especially here in the last 3 months. Just trying to keep those checks coming in, boys. Just trying to keep those checks coming in.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Exactly.
Brett Berry, I want to do a quick life update from you since we talked about, obviously, delayed wedding. You are taking a trip to go see the future in-laws, but you have now taken a COVID test as well. Everyone knows I've done it 3 times. I'm clean. y'all. But you did it. How was it?
I mean, Ellie, I think, described it most appropriately when she said she was expecting them to actually go deeper in their sinuses, but the motion was a little more aggressive than she expected in terms of how much they were like kind of rubbing around in there.
Yeah.
The lady that did it was like, most people describe it as kind of like when you jump in the pool and water goes up your nose and it like stings in there, and it's like, that's actually kind of weirdly accurate.
It's close for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so we scheduled it. We've been trying to really go on lockdown before we're trying to drive up there to try to make sure that we're safe. We're quarantining aggressively, especially now, like post-test. Like we're gonna try to not leave the house at all, and then we're trying to camp on the way up there. Try to be as safe as possible and not bring anything to Ellie's parents. And then hang out up there for a few days.
Where did you go to get it done? Did you just go to your doctor's office, or did you find one of the local Blitz tests?
So that women's clinic that you had sent, they started doing a location right by Tempe Marketplace.
Yeah, that's where I went last week. I went there for my third test there. The little garage.
Yeah. So there's like National Guard troops there, and I was actually kind of shocked that there weren't like more people there, considering how bad cases are going.
If it was quiet and you got it on a lucky time, because when I rolled up, they had to actually move cars because of where it's located on the road. This place is right on the side of the road, Joe. And for anybody watching, it's just a garage with 2 bays that they're using to do drive-through testing, so they can test you when you roll up in your car. But it was packed. I mean, parking lot. They were going out to the parking lot to take care of people when I went. Yeah.
Oh, there was. I mean, there's a couple of people that like couples in cars that were just doing it in the parking spaces right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty quick, pretty easy. We actually showed up earlier than our time, and you got
the abridged COVID test, I was told. So 1 nostril, 1 swab, right?
Yep.
That's what I did too. That was COVID test 3. Number 2 that I did with my dad a few weeks back when he wanted to go get tested was both nostrils, 10 seconds a pop, and a very wonderful deep throat. So so boom, boom, and a swab of the throat way past the uvula. So it was a good time. So I really hope you enjoyed your COVID test that was only one side of your nose. I literally got my brain tickled on both sides. And when I had something to say about it, they shut me up.
And all of a sudden, he started speaking French afterwards, and he doesn't know French.
I do. I do now, thanks to a brain tickle.
I understand calculus now. What happened?
Oh man.
So hopefully it comes back clean. It'd be nice to maybe get the antibody test if there's one that is good, to know that we're not like an asymptomatic carrier. But even those tests I know are a little less than perfect right now and not super available. But try to be as responsible as possible.
Embry does it. So, and I'll give them a shout out all day long. They've been fantastic. They're actually an OBGYN office that has opened up and been available for absolutely everyone. And if you don't have insurance, they'll test you as well. But yeah, they're great. If you go to their main office and you can find an appointment, they will do an antibody test. By the way, I don't. Joe, have you had one? Have you taken one?
Oh, I've had 2 actually.
Okay, tell us about your. I want to know the Florida man COVID test experience.
Okay, I got you. So, quick backstory. My fiance works in the logistics for construction, so she's been essential during this entire process and has been exposed to it at literally a ground level. Her office had a scare here about, I want to say it's about a month and a half ago. So the office had a scare, sent her home, said, hey, everybody you've been in contact with, go get a test done, because one of the engineers that had come into the office had tested positive. And it's one of the engineers that she works with on a daily basis for, cost engineering and things like that. So we sit in line for about 2 hours here at the Orange County Convention Center. It was a very surreal experience. It reminded me a lot of like World War Z kind of thing, because there's all these white military tents and shit like that. The National Guard's out there, waving people in and mess like that. So we're a little unnerved to begin with. So, we go through, they do the swab. Thankfully, we didn't have to do the down the nose thing. They just, did the swab at the back of the throat, which still sucks. It still sucks. But it was over and done with pretty quick. So thankfully got that done. That comes back negative. The day after we got our negative test results, there was a report of another person who'd come into the office, interacted with the staff.
This is the problem, guys. This is what everybody keeps forgetting is that like if you're gonna go take the test, like then you gotta either sequester yourself or what the hell's the point? And I appreciate what businesses are doing to tell their employees to go get tested every 2 weeks or whatever it is. But like, if I say I get tested yesterday and my results show up in 6 days and I'm negative, I don't know what happened in those 6 days. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Also, like questionable that you only got the throat swab and not the sinus tickle. So
yeah, I mean, we were.
Is somebody coming after me? Is that the problem? Has somebody hired someone to mess with me?
No, I think it's more a reflection of there's not a consolidated national testing strategy, and it's more a free for all for whoever wants to make money off of tests, even if they're not that great.
Agreed.
It's fair.
The testing here in Florida has been, while it has been prevalent and it has been very, very easily accessible to everybody, I still have questions. I'm not going to get into it, but I still have questions about the results and how they're being reported and accounted and things like that.
Oh, we can get into it, but it's so late in the show we shouldn't because we have all talked about it.
So I'm not going to bore you guys with the details, but here in Florida, we're just doing what we do, guys. I mean,
hey, apparently so are we because we just said fuck it.
Joe, I was expecting when you were describing your testing experience to start with like, so a guy with one arm and 7 toes comes up to me with a swab.
No. Well, actually, Brett, that was the guy that actually guided us into what line to get into. So,
yeah. But
you know what? I will say this much: there was enough camouflage involved in everything that I was very comfortable through the entire process.
and to think you didn't actually take a COVID test. They were swabbing for DNA to make sure you weren't Bigfoot. That's all.
I'm not going to rule that out. But then again, Fish and Game hasn't showed up hunting for my ass yet. So
I was going to say there was like 20 guys with shotguns, and then you turned away, and the guy did the test. Was like, no, he's not.
Yeah, the guy.
It's not him. Ladies and gentlemen, our dear friend Joe Mr. Joe McLellan, our own personal Florida man out there. Joe, do you have another beer you're cracking open before we get to the wrap up here?
Well, it's going to take me a second to go get it if you guys will indulge me.
By all means, sir.
Oh, sounds good.
All right. He is our own personal Florida man. I guess we should bring him in as like Florida man correspondent sometimes. Maybe that's a new thing. Like he could be our Florida man on the street.
I mean, I feel like, yeah, my own personal Florida man, I'm not sure if it's a beer name, but it's certainly like a segment name.
My own personal Florida man? It sounds like a really shitty band. That's what that is. I wouldn't think my own personal Florida man, but I definitely pay $5 to go see my own personal Florida man. That's where I'm at with that one. I don't know. Joe, you're back. Guys, if you're still hanging out, which you are, please tell us what you're drinking in the comments. Otherwise, just keep drinking and playing us in the background. We're happy to make you comfortable and soothe your day.
No. All right, so this is called Diver Down. It's from a little place called the Brew Hub. Now, the Brew Hub is just down one of the major interstates here, I-4. This is an Imperial Red Ale. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite beers that I found here locally.
Now, there's a style that doesn't get made very often, an Imperial Red Ale.
Exactly. So I was very intrigued when I found it. But I got to say, it's got those qualities that I love from a double IPA. It's got that maltiness to it. It's got that full body. Not exactly a warm weather beer, so I will caution folks there. But I've got to say, strong flavor, clocks in about 8% ABV. Got just enough of a hop and a bitterness to it to let you know you're drinking a beer. But man,
see, it's late in the afternoon for you over there because you're 3 hours ahead. So it's 5:30. You're basically like, it's almost Brett Barry's bedtime. Grandpa Brett has to go to sleep soon. You know,
very true.
like, it's 2:30
Well,
here, so
The cats woke us up at 5:20 this morning.
Oh, geez.
I got
They're
a
like,
nice
they're like
cat.
roosters when the sun comes up.
Ouch.
Freaking Wally came and just bit my lip this morning and like
Hey,
tried to tug it. I'm like,
that's-
Jesus Christ.
That's something you're supposed to get on video so you can get 100,000 Instagram likes. Is your cat nibbling on your lip? It's adorable. You should do that. It's 100% a thing. Chris Macbeth says, "Can Amy and I be your RV and fishing correspondents?" I don't see why not, Brett. But also, do we have to watch you empty the black tank? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Emptying the black tank is clearly a sour stout beer name.
Also, why do sour stouts exist? Not a beer style I thought I would ever have to put in my mouth. Ever.
Yeah,
Those sour stouts are what happens when they're like, shit, it got infected. But let's see if we can get some yokels to buy a few kegs of this.
What defines a yokel?
I mean, somebody that makes poor decisions with their money, doesn't know what they're doing.
okay, time out. Florida man, we have that covered already. So we're gonna have to go somewhere else with that.
Wait.
We've already got the market cornered there, friend.
You got the market cornered. Yokels.
We do.
Yokels indeed.
I mean, Orange County technically has classified a meth lab as a small business down here. So, all right, come on. We're going to think a little harder on that. You know?
Are you telling me Meth Labs got a hold of the PPP? They got some bailout money?
All right. Well, without getting into too much detail, let's just say I know some folks that perhaps are keeping their business afloat. We'll just leave it there.
I think that's enough detail to possibly. Never mind. You know what? Nothing's going to happen to you. Because
Yes, twice in one.
Yusuf, we should try to get some connections in California and have an Orange County versus Orange County episode.
I would
madness.
100% do that. Orange County, California versus Orange County, Florida. Orange County, California is going to win because Orange County, Florida has nothing.
Now hold on. Now time out. Before we make that assumption,
Would you? It's not an assumption. The amount of times I've been out there is enough for me to not want to go out there anymore. I mean, that's where I'm at.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. There's some strange stuff going on in California. Not gonna lie about that.
Well, I'm in Florida. California's fine.
Oh, you mean this Orange County? Oh, the East Coast. All right.
I love our own personal Florida man saying, yeah, there's a lot of fucking weirdos in Orange County, California. Which I also kind of agree with.
And there's got the T-shirt
for completely different reasons than the weirdos in Orange County, Florida. But there's plenty of weirdos in just very different ways.
Well, the main difference is there's not a lot of vegans here in Orange County, Florida, and there's not a lot of gluten-free here either. So, yeah.
I mean, don't they feed the vegans to the alligators?
They make great bait. I'm just saying. I haven't done it, but I'm just saying.
We were rolling down in his Jeep, and I'm looking out at signs on every lake that are like, alligators. Don't go near the water. How do people actually go golf? What happened to Chubbs is a possibility in real life. You can lose an entire arm or hand playing golf in Florida.
I wish I had the links. There's tons of videos on 12-foot alligators in multiple lakes across Orange County for golf.
I want you to as our last bit before we wrap up the show, I want you to tell us the most Florida man story about a Florida man that you have personally experienced. Like just a Florida moment that you have personally experienced.
Most Florida moment. Oh, let's see here. Okay, so all right, so there's a local theme park here in the South Orange County area called Gatorland. They've been open for many, many years. Great place, great people. Do a lot for conservation, for the local environmental kind of thing. They have a ride that they put into the park, and you drive around in a swamp buggy. Now, when I say a swamp buggy, we're on massive tires. We're talking about 10 feet off the ground, things like that. And they incorporated this into a theme park ride. And in the theme park ride, they take you on a trail past an old dilapidated trailer. And there's a lot of jokes made about it being a meth lab from somebody who the meth lab blew up. And there's some small business jokes that go in there as well. Now, this is a theme park that you can find on the internet. It's fantastic. Trust me.
I'm just making sure that we all know that this theme park actually exists.
It does. It actually exists. Gatorland. Check it out. Check it out. They'd love to have y'all come by. They'd love it. They're great people.
I just had Florida Man bingo there. You had the alligator meth lab.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Totally.
Was there a random stranger that was missing random articles of clothing at any point?
If you said random limbs, we'd have won, but no.
Okay, fine, I'll take it. Random limbs means you don't need those pieces of clothing anyways. So, totally
well, basically, it was from the elbow down, but still, that counts as a limb, right?
It is what it is, man. Our own personal Florida man, everybody, Joe McLellan. Thank you guys for joining us. Joe, we always like to have a quick toast at the end of the show with our friends on the screen as our social distance drinking time.
Whiskey, huh?
Yeah, sorry, buddy. I'll put this away at some point. But you know what it is, man? I think this bottle's bad because it's not getting me drunk. So it's like it's bad. Yeah. I'll get you another one. They are completely sold out, and I don't know if there is any more, but I'll get you another one. I'll totally get you another one.
He's gonna fill that bottle with fucking serums.
Does Stevens even make a whiskey?
I'm sure they do.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Guys, link on the bottom, socialdistancedrinkingclub.com for some merch. Also, please give it up for our friend, Joe Mack, our own personal Florida man. We're going to have to bring you back as our Florida man on the street is what our plan is. So, we'll see what we can do. Maybe some collaboration with your latest project. You guys got to check out the Newsuck. It's the news with an uck at the end.com.
Exactly, yes.
And
your internet news and a little side of judgment.
Yeah, and seriously, guys, poor Dave from Wendy's. Poor Dave.
Also, where are you going to find news and judgment with those news stories in 2020? Like, how do you find material?
This is it.
Well, there's a lot of Florida man news, Brett. Actually, our latest episode that drops tomorrow at, I believe, 4 o'clock Eastern time, maybe 5. Is strictly a Florida man food news episode.
Whoa, hey there. Now we're talking.
There's some food stories in there. So we try to keep it clean, keep it relevant.
And food is a thing in Florida. Not very good, but it's a thing. Also, side note, don't expect good Cuban food in Orlando. Keep it in Miami because it's bad in Orlando.
This is true. This is also very true.
Joe, thank you very much for joining us. And Sam Fraser says, pros to you, Joe. Chris McBeth says, Joe Mack is cool. Yes, he is.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
As cool as the Florida weather.
It's not really much at all, actually. But that's fine. I appreciate the sentiment.
Well, Joe, hang tight. We always have a post-show conversation, one I like to call the Digital Green Room. But for all of you watching out there, cheers. I'm drinking espresso. It's been another episode of the Social Distance Drinking Club. Seriously, no, cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.